I covertly studied Italian to astonish my boyfriend's family, only to uncover their true feelings about me. I learned my boyfriend's native language in secret to delight his relatives, but it became the gravest error of my existence. When I began dating Marco 2 years back, his large Italian-American clan felt like a comforting embrace. Every Sunday, his mom would cradle my face, plant kisses on my cheeks, and call me Cara as if I were her own child. His sisters would share workplace gossip with me. His dad would tap my shoulder, insist I was too thin, and heap more food onto my plate. They were the family I never had. You see, I took over my dad's tech firm at 22. Sounds glamorous, right? Poor little heiress. But while the company soared, I was sinking in isolation. My parents only reached out when they wanted something. My siblings saw me as a cash machine, but Marco's family seemed to cherish me for who I was. When they switched to Italian at dinner, I'd just smile. Their joy in speaking it was infectious, and their warm glances made me feel included. I began bringing gifts to contribute. $300 bottles of wine, designer scarves for his mom. When his sister mentioned her student loans at dinner, I quietly paid them off. She sobbed and hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. That felt like family. The requests crept in slowly. Their fridge died, so I bought a new one. The dishwasher broke, so I covered the repairs. Marco's cousin needed work, so I created a position at my company. Every Sunday brought a new problem, and I solved it with money, because that's what families do, isn't it? I even hired Marco, despite his sparse resume, dreaming of a shared future. Then last year, everything unraveled. My company faced a hostile takeover, and I was killing myself with 18-hour workdays to save it. I asked Marco if I could miss a few Sunday dinners until the storm passed. His expression crushed me. Family is everything, he said. Money doesn't outweigh family. His mom texted later, saying she understood that business comes first for Americans, adding a sad emoji. The guilt choked me, so I found a middle ground. I'd attend dinners with my laptop and phone, taking calls between dishes. They spoke more Italian those nights, but I was too drained to notice. I started learning Italian on late-night flights, planning to surprise them. I wanted to show I wasn't just some American trying to fit in. I wanted to belong. Then Marco's mom needed surgery. $50,000 for an experimental procedure. I paid it instantly. But one day, I tried to leave a family gathering early for an urgent board meeting. Marco exploded. My mother could die, and you care about money, he yelled. I stayed. I always stayed. 2 years of new cars in their driveway. Designer outfits. Marco's brother promoted to VP at my firm despite being utterly unqualified. Marco used a company card for personal expenses, which I covered. I even funded their side hustle, making counterfeit designer bags. I was burning out, trying to be everything to everyone, but they were family. Families sacrifice for each other. Then I sealed the biggest deal of my career. Ecstatic, I rushed to Sunday dinner, the first I'd made in a month. I'd been studying Italian for months, ready to surprise them. I planned to gift them a lavish Christmas trip to Italy. I wanted to give them the world. I arrived beaming, eager to share my triumph and speak their language. They were deep in Italian conversation, and for the first time, I understood every word. The foolish girl just handed me another $50,000, his mom said. There was no surgery. His sister laughed. She's so naive. Rich Americans always are. My legs felt like jelly. His dad asked how much longer Marco had to fake it with this pitiful girl. Until the wedding, Marco replied. Then I get half her company in the divorce. Julia knows the plan. Julia? Who is Julia? They switched to English effortlessly. His mom grabbed my face, kissed my cheeks, and asked about work, calling me Cara. But in Italian, they'd call me a cash cow. I sat through that dinner, suffocating under their betrayal. Every warm memory twisted. Every kind act a charade. Every I love you a deception. $800,000 I'd given to people who saw me as a target. That night, I found Julia on social media, Marco's business partner. But then the tears dried. I wasn't weak. I had just forgotten my strength. I kept attending dinners, kept smiling, while my lawyers quietly drafted documents and gathered proof of Marco's theft. Last night at Thanksgiving, I revealed their Christmas gift, the Italy trip I planned. I showed them the tickets, the villa, the works. They practically burst with joy. The vacation will be everything I promised, but it'll also be what they deserve. Because in Italy, surrounded by their extended family and witnesses, I'll finally speak their language. And they'll learn what happens when you mistake generosity for fragility. The next morning, I woke with a plan solidifying in my mind. With 6 weeks until Christmas, I had to ensure everything was flawlessly arranged. My first task was securing the villa in Tuscany. I reached out to my real estate agent in Milan, informing her I wanted to buy the property outright rather than just lease it. The seller was overjoyed at the prospect of finalizing the deal before the holiday season. Over the next few days, I holed up in my office, combing through security footage and financial documents. My CFO assisted me in gathering proof of every deceitful transaction Enzo had orchestrated. The charges on a corporate credit card alone amounted to more than $200,000. Lavish dinners at upscale restaurants passed off as client meetings, with receipts revealing intimate tables for two, luxury watches and designer outfits claimed as business expenses, and weekend getaways with timestamps proving he was far from any company office. My legal team worked tirelessly to prepare the paperwork. We discreetly froze the accounts Enzo could access without tipping him off. I quietly stripped his system permissions while keeping his login functional to avoid suspicion. Every email he sent, every file he touched, was meticulously tracked and recorded. The toughest challenge was keeping up appearances at Sunday family dinners. I'd show up with my usual bottle of wine and gifts, letting them chatter in Italian around me while I feigned ignorance. Enzo's mother would grumble about her arthritis, and I'd offer to cover her medical treatments. His father would mention needing new equipment for their family business, and I'd promise to explore options. All the while, they'd mock me as idiota and vaca stupida when they thought I couldn't understand. 3 weeks before Christmas, I visited their counterfeit handbag operation in a warehouse on the edge of town. Rows of sewing machines churned out fakes, with stacks of boxes filled with knockoff designer labels. They proudly gave me a tour, boasting about their ability to replicate any luxury brand flawlessly. The craftsmanship was surprisingly good, which only made my plan more satisfying. "You should take these to Italy," I suggested offhandedly. "I know some boutique owners in Milan who might want to buy stock. It could be a fantastic chance to go international." Their faces lit up with avarice. Enzo's father began estimating how many bags they could cram into their suitcases, while his mother started selecting designs she thought would appeal to affluent Europeans. I urged them to bring as many as they could, even offering to cover extra luggage fees. 2 weeks before the trip, I hired a private investigator to delve into Giulia's background. It turned out she and Enzo had been a couple since their college days. She lived in a condo purchased with funds he'd siphoned from my company. They shared bank accounts and were planning a spring wedding once my divorce was finalized. The investigator provided photos of them dining together, kissing outside her building, and even shopping for engagement rings. I began recording every Sunday dinner, my phone tucked in my purse, capturing hours of their Italian conversations. They discussed Enzo's plan to propose to me on New Year's Eve to rush the marriage, their consultations with divorce attorneys to secure half my assets, and how Giulia was already furnishing their future home with expected settlement money. A week before Christmas, through my lawyer's connections, I met with Italian authorities. I detailed the counterfeit goods operation and provided evidence of the fake handbags they planned to bring into Italy. The officials were keenly interested, especially when I mentioned the sheer volume they intended to transport. Counterfeiting luxury brands is a serious offense in Italy, and smuggling them across borders made it even graver. I also completed the villa purchase and hired a property management firm to handle the eviction process, set for December 26th, the day after Christmas. They confirmed the local police would escort everyone off the property for trespassing at 8 a.m. At the last Sunday dinner before the trip, I watched them stuff counterfeit Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton bags into suitcases. They were buzzing with excitement, speaking rapidly in Italian about the profits they anticipated. Enzo's sister was already planning her purchases with her cut, while his brother talked about leaving his job at my company once the bag sales paid off. "Are you sure your contacts will want this many?" Enzo's mother asked in English, pointing to the pile of fake merchandise. I reassured her confidently, saying Italian boutiques love buying stock at wholesale prices and to pack carefully to avoid customs issues. They exchanged smug glances, likely thinking I was foolish for aiding their illicit scheme. Little did they know I'd already tipped off Italian customs with their flight details and names. The night before our flight, I reviewed everything one last time. The villa purchase was finalized. The eviction notice was ready. The fraud evidence was neatly organized by date. The recordings were securely backed up in multiple places. Enzo's resignation letter was drafted, effective immediately, and new company security measures were prepared. My Italian was now fluent enough to deliver the speech I'd planned. I barely slept, adrenaline surging through me. This wasn't about vengeance, not entirely. It was about justice, proving that kindness isn't weakness, generosity isn't naivety, and wealth doesn't make me an easy target. The next morning, we gathered at the airport point 3 generations of Enzo's kin, hauling enough bags to fill a chic boutique, buzzed with anticipation, snapping selfies and sharing posts about their Italian Christmas getaway. Enzo kept me close, his arm draped around me, the picture of a loving boyfriend. His mother doted on me, double-checking that I had my passport and boarding pass in hand. What a flawless act. At the gate, I overheard their lively Italian chatter about their plans. They were eager to dive in, arranging meetings with prospective buyers right away. Enzo's father had even studied Italian tax regulations to dodge reporting their profits. They divvied up brand territories like seasoned mobsters, assigning which family members would handle what. "Bella, you seem exhausted," Enzo's mother said in English, gently patting my face. "You work too much. This trip will do you good." I flashed a bright smile. I've been counting down the weeks for this. It's going to be life-changing. She didn't realize how right I was. As we boarded the plane, a strange calm settled over me. The days ahead would be turbulent, but I was prepared. They'd taught me family was everything. Soon, they'd see the price of betraying it. The flight dragged on, but I used the time to go over my notes one last time. In just 2 days, at a grand Christmas dinner with all their extended relatives, I'd lay everything bare. I pictured their shocked faces when they learned I'd understood every harsh word, when they faced a legal storm coming their way, when they discovered a villa they thought was a rental was mine. It almost made the last 2 years worthwhile. As we descended into Rome, Enzo gripped my hand. "Thanks for this," he murmured. "My family adores you." I squeezed back, mirroring his false warmth. I know just how much they care, and I'm so eager to show them my gratitude for all they've done. The seatbelt sign lit up, and I gazed at the Italian landscape below. Somewhere down there, a stunning villa waited, a perfect stage for performance of a lifetime. They thought they were playing me one last time. They didn't know the real game was just starting. Landing at Rome's Fiumicino airport, the family's energy surged. Enzo's father took charge like a commander, barking rapid Italian orders about which bags held the fake goods and which were personal. His mother clutched her oversized handbag tightly, likely hiding the priciest counterfeit items she planned to sell herself. I watched them breeze through customs with ease, splitting into different lines to avoid suspicion with their mountain of luggage. My pulse raced as we neared the security checkpoint, but I kept my face neutral, playing the clueless American girlfriend to perfection. The customs officers gave our passports a cursory glance, waving us through without a second look. A flicker of doubt hit me. Had the Italian authorities ignored my tip? I brushed aside. Everything else was still on track. The rental van I'd organized was ready outside, spacious enough for all 15 family members who'd come along. Enzo's cousins from New Jersey and his aunt and uncle from Philadelphia had joined, each bringing their own stash of fake bags, turning our vacation into a profitable venture in their eyes. During the 3-hour drive to Tuscany, they spoke only in Italian, hashing out distribution plans and profit margins. Enzo's cousin Marco suggested tripling their usual prices, betting wealthy Europeans wouldn't spot the fakes. His wife chimed in, proposing they claim the bags were stolen from luxury warehouses to seem more legit. That dumb American girl really pulled through, Enzo's mother said, glancing at me as I stared out the window. Her connections are going to make us rich. I held my tongue, pretending to be captivated by the countryside. The rolling hills and ancient villages were stunning, but my focus was on the performance ahead. Every cruel remark they made only fueled my determination. The villa emerged like a vision, perched on a hill amid olive groves and vineyards. 3 stories of creamy stone terracotta roof tiles, sweeping terraces, and a sparkling pool overlooking the valley. The family gasped in unison, their excitement electric. This place must cost a fortune to rent. Enzo's aunt whispered in Italian. She's footing the bill for everything. His mother replied with a smug grin. Foolish girl thinks she's buying our affection. They spilled out of the van like eager kids, claiming rooms and exploring every inch of property. I'd stocked the kitchen with fine wines and gourmet ingredients, playing the generous host flawlessly. While they settled in, I slipped away to make business calls, actually finalizing details with my Italian lawyer. That evening, they turned the dining room into a makeshift showroom. Fake Chanel bags lined the antique sideboard, counterfeit Hermes scarves draped over chairs, and Louis Vuitton wallets were spread across the table like a deck of cards. They snapped photos, building catalogs for potential buyers. Tomorrow, we start setting up meetings, Enzo's father declared over dinner. I've already reached out to some contacts here. The irony wasn't lost on me. They were eating my food while plotting their legal scheme. I raised my glass of Barolo, worth more than most people's monthly pay, and toasted their success. They clinked glasses eagerly, unaware that hidden security cameras I'd installed during the property purchase were recording every moment. On Christmas Eve morning, the extended Italian relatives began arriving. Enzo had invited his mother's family from across Tuscany and Umbria, billing it as a family celebration and a chance to meet his rich American girlfriend. By noon, over 40 people filled the villa. Speaking rapid Italian, they assumed I couldn't follow. I played the perfect hostess, serving costly Prosecco and arranging lavish antipasti spreads. The relatives sized me up with calculating looks, clearly wondering how much they could gain from this naive American. Several pulled Enzo aside to pitch business ideas needing funding. She owns a tech company. I overheard him tell his cousin Giuseppe, worth hundreds of millions, and she's so desperate for family she'll back anything we propose. They laughed, slapping his back and praising his perfect mark. Meanwhile, his mother showed the fake bags of female relatives, taking orders and promising post-holiday delivery. The villa had become a hub for their illicit operation, and they felt untouchable. That afternoon, as they prepped for the evening feast, I stepped away to finalize my plans. The property management company confirmed the eviction notice was set. The local police chief assured me officers would arrive at 8 a.m. sharp. My lawyer had filed all the fraud evidence with the authorities. The recorded conversations were edited and ready on my laptop for the perfect moment. Christmas Eve dinner was a grand affair. 3 tables pushed together, groaning with traditional Italian dishes Enzo's mother and aunts had spent all day cooking. The irony that they prepared this feast in my kitchen, in my villa, while scheming to fleece me wasn't lost. I sat at Enzo's side, playing the smitten girlfriend, counting down the minutes inside. The wine flowed, loosening their tongues even more. They stopped bothering to switch to English when speaking to me, assuming I was too drunk on pricey Amarone to notice. Their talk grew bolder, covering not just current schemes but future plans. After the wedding, we'll control everything. Enzo told his uncle. Her company, properties, investment accounts. It'll set up the family for generations. What if she wanted a prenup? Someone asked. Enzo chuckled. She's too in love to think of that. Besides, I'll propose romantically, maybe here in Italy. She'll be too emotional to worry about protecting her assets. His mother reached over, pinching my cheek fondly. Such a sweet girl, she said.